Alright, so it's time for another Noloco demo. This time we're going to be taking a look at a car detailing business, and more specifically we're going to be taking pictures with our phone. We're going to be collecting signatures with our phone all through the Noloco interface, and moreover we're going to be sending reports to clients via email, again all through Noloco. Let's go have some fun. So let's start things off with a very quick demo. I've got my app installed on my phone, and again, this is a progressive web app, PWA app of my Noloco app. So you can install it on your phone and you can run the same app from your phone. So I've got it installed, I've just opened it up, and as you can see, we've got a bunch of different things that we can do, but I'm just gonna go into my vehicles and we're gonna perform a check-in of a vehicle, essentially checking it in, recording any kind of damages, rust and all that kind of stuff, and getting the client to sign off on that because we don't want them to accuse us of causing damage that we didn't cause, which was there before we even took the car in. So we're going to perform a check-in. We're going to add some check-in, check-out items. There we go. Let's say I found a scratch. I can take some images of this. I'm going to pretend that this is me taking an image of a scratch. I'm going to press save. You can also add some notes. So there you go. Let's record a dent, add some pictures. Take a different picture this time from this angle. Press OK. Some notes. Found a small dent. Right? Is that a dent? Yeah. Press save. And the beauty of this whole system is that as soon as we create this report, we can also see it over here in our other browser on our computer. I didn't have to refresh anything. So imagine that you might be out there taking pictures of the car, but your colleagues in the office, they'll be able to see any new reports coming in real time. You don't really need to get them to refresh anything. It's all in real time. Now, let's say I want now the client to review what I found, as you can see, and I want them to sign the terms and conditions, T's and C's. They can put a signature in there, and all we have to do now is just press confirm. Generating report, you can see it over there, and this means that over, in a few seconds, I should be able to email them that report, and I can do that again straight from my phone. We're just waiting for the report to come in. It takes a couple of seconds. There we go. Here's the report. We can check out the report to make sure that it's good. Yeah, looks great. And we should also be able to see a nice little button over here, email client. There we go, email report. And I can of course do this from phone, but whatever. So now I've just opened up my client email, and I can see immediately here that it was 0 minutes ago. The client has received their report. Now, let's take a look at how to set up this whole thing. Okay, so before we talk about anything else, let's talk about the database. Now, it's a very simple design. There's not much going on. I've got my list of vehicles over here. I've got some references to vehicle ownership because I'm planning to do more videos on this particular concept of, car management or like vehicle management and car garages and all that kind of thing. So yeah, there is an element of vehicle ownership. There is some basic items over here in terms of check-in, check-out, and figuring out what the latest status is of the check-in. We then have our list of clients. Again, nothing really crazy about what the client table looks like. Then we have vehicle ownership. Essentially, we're marrying a vehicle to the client, when it was owned from, when it was owned to. Formula here that calculates whether or not this owner was passed or they are the current owner. From there, we have the check-in, check-out table, which a lot of the magic happens kind of like in this table, where we have our name, just a simple concat. We have our link to a vehicle, email report, check. Then we have our latest timestamp from vehicle for figuring out what the latest check-in, check-out action was on that vehicle, and we're bringing this in. Then we determine the latest. So in other words, we're comparing the created on field of this particular action to the latest action of that vehicle. If that's true, then we print latest, otherwise it's nothing. From there, we also have the performing. So we're performing what? a check-in or a checkout. From there, we have a date. In other words, we're just printing the date, today's date. We set the accept T's and C's. The client signature needs to land somewhere. And the check-in, checkout items, or the Chico items, which is a link to this table over here, our report link, just a simple text field, and create it on. Then we have our Chico items. So again, a simple concat, the related Chico report. We have our photo, the type of damage, what to do, and some notes. We kind of also have services, but we don't need this for this particular project. Now, let's go ahead and check out the next part, which I believe is setting up document to generate the PDF report. Okay. Now, let's talk about document. So this is my document template. And if you are not super familiar with what document is or how it works, I've got a link down in the description below about the basics of document. Essentially, it's a service that allows us to create custom PDFs based on templates. So yeah, check out that link if you're not familiar with document. It's going to help you out. You're going to really understand how this whole thing works. But yeah, for this particular report, what we have, again, just a simple header. It's a check-in, check-out report. We've got our plates, brand model, the owner details, the client signature, and then we have a loop over here of the damage, action, and notes. And then, of course, the photos. Basically, I've got one photo. I've got multiple photos, photo 1, photo 2, photo 3, but just have them all squished in together so that, you know, if you want to take multiple photos of a certain type of damage that you found or rust, you can do that. And yeah, basically that's it in terms of the report. There's not much else to it. Now let's go ahead and check out how Noloco is set up so that we can basically get a better understanding of the front end, and from there we're going to take a look at the automation side of things. Now before we go any further, I would like to say that we appreciate absolutely every single person who watches this channel, and we're trying to reach a goal of 3,000 subscribers by the end of this year, 2024, December 31st, 2024. Now I know what you're thinking, this is kind of like a lame target, but we're a small channel. So let's up the ante. If we get 10,000 subscribers by that date, I will say bye-bye to my most precious possession, my beard. So yes, sometimes we have to kill our darlings for the greater good. Although I know I am going to severely regret this. Anyway, back to the video. So now let's talk about Noloco. And within my Noloco instance, I basically have my record of a car where I can perform a check-in, check-out. But let's edit the app, and you can see here that I've got basically two little notifications. I've got one notification saying, hey, car is checked out or never checked in, perform a check-in, or the car is checked in, perform a check-out. Now, the way that this works is actually quite simple. We've got our button over here that goes against the little notice, perform check-in, and yeah, all it does is basically create a new record in the check-in, check-out collection in our check-in, check-out table. The date is there, pre-filling with new. I believe the default is now. Chico, check-in, check-out items collection. It's all there, nothing really to call home about. And performing, this is just a hidden value check-in. The reverse happens with the other button for checkout. Again, nothing really different to this one. The only thing that is different is the checkout hidden value being pre-filled quietly. So yeah, now let's actually go ahead and take a look at that check-in, checkout record that would have been created at this point. And there's some important things happening here. Let's begin at the beginning with the signature collection, which is quite an important feature of Noloco. So I've got a button here set up for the record called Sign and Report. Let's take a look at how this is set up. So we've got Sign and Generate Report. A report will be generated as soon as you submit this form. That's what it basically says as soon as you're doing it. And we have a notification set up, generating report, but ultimately we're updating this record, this check-in, check-out record, with a couple of things. First of all, accept T's and C's. It's that little button, and I've pre-filled some dummy text over here about, you know, T's and C's. And you can do that too. Now, from there, the next thing is to actually collect the client's signature. And what I've done here is have an attachment field, but you can display an attachment field either as a default or as an e-signature field. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Once you've done that, and of course I've marked both fields as required, yeah, I don't think there's much else. Oh yes, I'm also running an on-demand workflow, which basically sends this particular record to make.com. And we're going to talk about how that whole thing works. But yeah, for the moment, that's basically it. There is the next part of the automation, and that is the emailing of the report. Now, let's take a look at that particular button. So email report, again, super straightforward, but the most interesting part happens over here. Run an on-demand workflow, this record, and the workflow is called email client about report. If we jump into our workflows, we've got email client about report. Essentially, we're sending an email to a dummy email address at this point. And yeah, as you can see, we've got our subject, hi. I'm also mapping the report link here, which is kind of important because we want to make sure that there's some way to view the report as a third party. You might want to add it as an attachment field, but I've seen this misbehave a little bit with PDF files. So right now I'm just using a basic good old report link, and we're going to see how to populate that link in a sec. But yeah, nothing else there to talk about in terms of Noloco process. Let's now jump in and see how the automation works behind the scenes that generates that funky report. All right, so we're back, and it's time to take a look at how the automation is set up that generates the report. Now, as we saw here, we have an on-demand workflow that happens as soon as we get the signature from the client. And that on-demand workflow basically works in a very simple way. Let's open this up. So here we go. That's the on-demand workflow that we're talking about. We've got a single step that basically pushes data to this webhook. Now, if you're not familiar with make.com, familiarize yourself with it. It's a very awesome tool. In fact, there is a funky little affiliate link down in the description and below, which will allow you to have a pro account for 1 month. So go ahead and check that out. It's going to really help the channel. But yeah, essentially, as soon as you create a new scenario, all you have to do is just create a new webhook. And that webhook will receive a payload as soon as the action is triggered. Take that address, copy it to clipboard, and make sure that you paste it in here. Now, obviously, don't take my address, take yours, because Make will generate a unique URL just for you. So yeah, as soon as that's done and we get our payload from Noloco, essentially we get that Chico report just like so. Then we get the plates of the car. Again, I'm just fetching the vehicle details. From there, I'm fetching the latest, the current owner from clients. From there, the next step is to actually iterate through the Chico items, essentially the stuff that we found during our check-in, check-out process. I'm iterating through them. I'm fetching each and every one of them through the Chico items table. And then I'm finally aggregating all of that against my custom loop inside of document. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the video in the description below. It's this loop basically where we have damage, action, notes, and the 3 photos. As you can see in my aggregator, that's what I have. Damage, action, notes, yeah, and the 3 photos. Once that's nicely filled in, all I have to do is just basically create my report just like so, but I'm also at the very end mapping that custom aggregated array that I've just set up. You can do this in any shape and form, but this is essentially what I'm mapping in order to create that report that you just saw. From there, I'm updating Airtable. Essentially, I'm taking that PDF that was just generated and I'm pushing it to Airtable. Most important thing to note here is that I want my email report to be set to no. It shouldn't be empty, it should be no, because maybe I basically want to regenerate my report. So yeah, at that point, I want to make sure that this button that kind of allows me to email that report disappears. This email report button depends on this particular, what's it called? The little tick mark, this email report to be ticked. As soon as it's ticked, it basically signifies that the report is ready to be sent to the client. If I'm refreshing my report, I want that button to be kind of gone for a split second while I'm generating my report. As soon as that's done, I'm actually setting the whole system to sleep for 10 seconds because I want Noloco to have enough time to process that file that was just uploaded to Airtable. At that point, I can then, as soon as it's ready, I can proceed with emailing everything to the client. So refresh the vehicle because I want to make sure that the vehicle kind of understands at what sort of time frame we're at. Then I'm getting my check-in, check-out record, and this will carry in it the report that we've just generated. Once we do that, we then need to get that particular file. So here I am, car detailing collection is file, right? And from there, I'm just mapping that ID from module number 20, like so. Just choose this ID over here, basically. That's all there is to it. From there, I have a little filter, bundle order position equals to 1. It should always equal to 1. I'm just being pedantic. Print file. I'm basically saying here's the URL link. Email report is still no. I'm basically printing that in there. And from there, I'm making the report available. In other words, the email report is set to yes. And now that button will be visible within Noloco. That's it in terms of the make automation. There's not much else to this. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you've thought about this particular implementation of Noloco for like car servicing. I'm actually thinking about doing a whole video on how to set up the whole portal. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you're interested. I'll probably be doing it anyway. Yeah, whatever. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Love you. Bye.